All right, guys, this is the brand new Typhon 3S for 2025, and it is $329.99 from Arrma. And we have a couple new improvements on the car that make a big difference. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is the clipless body. So the beauty of this particular clipless body, it has one push point, where on the Crane 6S, you have two push points, which makes it a little bit more difficult to get off. What do I mean by that? You push in here, and as you push in, you only need one hand, and you just lift the body up, and there's a connection point that just slides out. Now, we're hoping that Arrma does this with all their cars. It's not something that's impossible. That is really the best type of clipless design, is one connection point. So this is best in class as far as clipless body. The second and really the most important upgrade on this car is the center differential. We all know that the past slipper on these cars were terrible. After about 6 runs, they would just loosen up and come apart. How do I know that? Because customers come in right after they used to buy the 3S cars, and they would get really upset, and I'd have to tighten up their clutch. Now, over time, I learned that you actually had to tighten it up all the way and use thread lock, because they would come loose even after tightening them. So they weren't really a good design, and they didn't really do anything as slippers because you really couldn't use them as a slipper. If you left them a little bit loose, they would just completely loosen up. Horrible design. So they fixed it with a brand new center differential. It's a pretty thick and beefy differential. It really is effective. The car drives a lot better. It basically distributes the power much better from front to rear. We all know that a center differential really just makes the car drive like a more sophisticated, a more expensive type of car. Something like a Typhon 6S has that, and now we have that in the 3S, so we're really excited about that. Now, they did have to cut some corners here because all the money that they included on the slipper, they had to, save it somewhere. So where they do that, they did an all-in-one unit on the speed control, and the speed control has a receiver built into it. Now, if you do break this and it gets damaged by water, so if you break the receiver section, you have to buy the whole new unit for about $100. And if you break the ESC, you got to buy a whole new unit for $100, where in the past, that cost was half. So you really don't want to break this. But they did need to save money after adding the differential, and they had to do it somewhere, so that's where they did it. Luckily, the speed doesn't suffer. The old car did about 52 miles an hour. The new car is 2 miles an hour faster. It does 54. That's what everybody's recording it at. So tiny bit faster, but you have all-in-one electronics now. I really hope they don't do this on the rest of their line. It actually works for this car. It makes everything a little bit clean, a little bit more streamlined. Small footprint on there, and less wires and stuff to deal with. So you don't have all those wires going into the receiver now, which is kind of cool. But time will tell to see if this design is reliable. Now, the shocks on the car are a carryover from the old model. Luckily, Proline makes an upgrade, a very good upgrade, called the Power Strokes. These are aluminum-bodied shocks. You have aluminum threaded shock collars, titanium nitride shock shafts, and dual-stage springs. This is a noticeable upgrade on this car. I've done a lot of Typhons in the past. I've done a lot of Big Rocks. And let me tell you, it is a significant upgrade for this car. If you get this car, it's cheap enough where you could actually buy both of these, and it's not going to be too much of a problem. Now, the stock tires are really good. They're very grippy. They last a long time. They don't look that great. Not a fan of the dish type of rim, but they are 17 millimeter hubs, which we all love. So the best tire that you're going to get for this car is a Gladiator. Now, these are not belted. However, the foams in these are so stiff that these do not need to be belted. You have a square pin around the tire. The square pins are definitely the best for grabbing dirt. Overall, this is definitely going to be one of the best buggy tires you can get for the Typhon, or any buggy for that matter. And then for on-road, you have the Proline Avengers. These are belted, and these are for the street. Look at that tread. So if you want to turn this into a drift machine, you can buy the Avengers. It makes the car so versatile that you could put so many different tires and change the characteristic. Like I said, when these burn out and you have to get new tires, do not get these again. Get the Gladiators. And if you like drifting on the street, just get the Avengers. The other tire you can get for this car is the Bone Saw. However, they don't come with 17 millimeter hubs. So you're going to have to get the adapters. We sell both of those, so you can make the Bone Saw fit on this. And it's not a full monster truck tire like a 2.8. It's more closer to like a Stadium, like a 2.2. So it really lifts the car up just slightly, and it makes the car drive incredible. So if you want to add another dimension to your Typhon 3S, get the Bone Saws with the 17 millimeter adapters, and you'll be very, very happy. One thing I want to mention is a lot of these cars from the factory are coming with the mesh too tight. And then what happens is people are overheating their speed controls and they're getting thermal shutdowns. If you try to roll your car forward and it doesn't feel like it's free enough, this particular one actually feels like it's a little tight. We're going to have to open this up and loosen up and change the mesh. But if you get one and your mesh is too tight, you're going to have to change it just because you don't want your car to overheat and you want it to run more efficiently. So that is a tip on this car. We are going to make a follow-up review on this with some running footage. We're going to show you how the car drives, and we're going to play around with the stability control. From what I hear, there's 3 stages of stability management in this car. And from what I'm hearing is the second stage is the one you're going to use. The third one is only going to be for snow and rain or ice. It's going to be too much for the car. So again, this car now has DVC, which is stability management. It's like a TSM, and you want to run it in stage 2 if you're going to run that. Another cool feature of the car is, and really it's for kind of its looks and also it's a little practicality, are these little fins here, these little guides. They actually meet up with the body and they keep all the dirt out while having little fins here for venting. Really, really beautiful design. Very nice. It's a copy of the Grom, the little mini Grom, but look how beautiful that looks. That is just so killer. And that is really a nice selling point. Now, they do sell clear bodies for this car, and they also do have other colors. If you go on the Horizon Hobby website, you'll see that they have a lot more colorways. You can buy the bodies and just change them out. They have orange, they have yellow and red, they have black and red, all kinds of colors. If you don't like the stock options that are available, I particularly don't like the green one that's on the Typhon, the other color. I'm not a fan of that one. I do like the yellow, but I'm going to be getting a clear body and doing my own paint. So we're going to see how that comes out. I'll show that in my review video when we review the car. Anyway, this is Mark from parkflyers.com. We are signing off. Please join us on the next one. Like, share, and subscribe if you can. And please support our hobby shop by ordering from us. We always like to help. If you have any questions, call Mark at parkflyers.com at 1-800-470-8932. Or you can email me at mark@parkflyers.com, Mark with a C. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.